put your principles up for negotiation. You start say, you have to be realistic. And then you start say, God help those who help themselves. That's not in the Bible. If helping ourselves was a qualification for God to help us, why would Jesus come? We weren't helping ourselves. We start putting our principles up for review because we say, man, I feel live. And Paul is saying, some things are important and some things are of fundamental importance. You cannot compromise the core values, the core principles, the core beliefs, because to do so is to surrender yourself. You know, when people surrender their values for the crowd, to gain popularity, to gain wide acceptance, it is one thing. When people surrender their values and their principles to gain a material advantage, it is another thing. But you know what is really bad for me? Is when the reason we surrender our principle is not to be noticed, not to be seen, to just disappear, to be innocuous. I was telling the police at prayers on Monday morning something I have told you before, that there are two kinds of people, malfeasance and non-feasance. And I was telling them that malfeasance are the people who will speak ill of you, especially when you're not there. They will say bad things about you. Non-feasance will not say anything bad about you. But they will not say anything if anybody say anything bad about you. And part of what has happened to us is that many of us just want to blend in. So we dull the edges of our belief. We cut down on our principle. We surrender the core because we don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. We don't want to stand up and say, listen, you know, this morning I was coming over very early and I saw a car at the toll booth. Parked, looked like my wife's car. So I noticed it right away. And there was a man sharply dressed, obviously, for church. You know, have on a suit, a black man in a suit on a Sunday is going one place. Funeral or church. And so I got up and he was by the window. And he greeted me warmly. And I paid my toll and I said to him, so why are you parked at the toll? And he said, I left my wallet. And I said, I can pay your toll for you. And I put in the little thing. And you could see the joy on his face. You know, when he looked at me first, I think he recognized me. But I don't think he could say, Brother Roper. Because what has happened to us? The fact that we are Christians now has dulled. You must be able to call on me. Listen to me. I am your brother. Yeah. If you're in a hard and you call me. If I don't help, I at least will understand. Yeah. And what we are doing is dulling the edges so we just blend in like we're everybody else. And that's the worst part of it, you know. We become lukewarm. Yes. Our principles go. Not so much because we want to be popular or even because we want to make our money. It's just because we don't want to stand up. We don't want nobody to see us. We want to just go on and disappear under the radar. Paul is saying, listen, some things are important and some things are of fundamental. Listen, make a difference, no man. Yeah. Make people know that you are there. You're not just anybody. You're a child of God with faith in the resurrection. And that must stand out like a sore thumb, wherever you are. Wherever you are. Told you the day, and it is not to make a personal boast, it's only to share a testimony. I went downtown on King Street and parked, and then I was coming out. I can't remember if I was coming out or going in, but I backed into a car. And there was nobody there but me. And I came out and wrote my number on the thing and put it under the wiper. And about 3 days later, somebody called me and said, listen, I parked my car on King Street. And I came back and there was a scratch on it. And the only thing I saw was this number. And I said, yes, where will you go to a garage at 6 Espute Avenue? Tell him I sent you. And he said, what is your name? And I said, my name is Reverend Garnett. And he said, tell me why I am not surprised. And my head swelled big, so. We can't afford to disappear under the radar. The distinctives must stand out. And when, brothers and sisters, we compromise the core, we distort the distinctives of our faith. We diminish the advantage of our faith. And we dilute the pedigree of our faith when we compromise the core. Some things are important and some things are of fundamental importance. We dare not negotiate them away. We must not compromise them. You and I must make up our mind what they are. And if you have children, you must tell them what they are. That's what Deuteronomy says. When you lie down, when you sit around the table, write them upon the doorpost of your house so they know, so your picnic know some things are important in this house and some things are of fundamental importance. No child of mine will do this or do that. These are my values. These are my principles. This is my faith. This is the thing for which I live and for which I am prepared to die. These are the core. Don't tell me that the world can survive without a master narrative. Just not anecdotes. Just my story and your story. There is a big story. There is a big story. And my life and yours, if they are worth anything, must be connected to that story. Hallelujah. Amen. When you compromise the core, you distort your distinction, your distinctives. You surrender your advantage. And you dilute your pedigree. When you're in the office, when you're in the house and you have faith in the resurrection, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you because you have a faith that conquers death. This is the victory that overcomes the world, even your faith. This passage, therefore, reminds us of the danger, warns us of the danger of compromising the core. Tell me something. Do you have a core set of things? I'll ask you. You can talk about it. Is it anything goes in your life? Do you have some things in your life about which you draw a line in the sand? And you say, no, mas. No, sir. Are those things? I'm not saying what they are, but are there some things? Are there some things that you hold dearly? Nevertheless, says Paul, I am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in me will perform it unto the day of Jesus Christ. Yes. Amen. Do you have some core? Could I guess what they are by looking at your life? Or do you compromise them so that you may gain friends and